The sun was just beginning to rise over the hills of Judea when the small village slowly awakened. Golden light touched the rooftops made of clay and stone, while the crowing of roosters broke the silence of the early morning. It was a day like any other in the year 1 AD, yet each day was filled with rituals, traditions, and a deep faith that shaped every moment of life. The women were the first to rise. Wearing simple tunics and head coverings, they walked toward the well carrying clay jars. Water was not only necessary for life, but also for purification. Their conversations were quiet, almost whispers, as they shared news, concerns, and small joys while the sound of water echoed against the stone walls. Inside the homes, the men began preparing for work. Some were fishermen, others carpenters, farmers, or shepherds. The smell of freshly baked bread filled the air as dough was kneaded with patience and cooked over heated stones. It was simple food, yet essential, shared among families before heading out to fields or markets. Children ran barefoot through the dusty streets, learning the customs of their parents from a young age. They observed, imitated, and listened. Life was not taught through books, but through example. Every gesture carried meaning, every action held a lesson. At the center of the village, the marketplace began to fill. Traders offered fruits, grains, oil, and fabrics. Exchange was often direct, sometimes through barter. Voices blended together, creating a lively rhythm of commerce and community. People didn't just buy and sell, they shared stories and strengthened relationships. But beyond work and daily routine, faith was the heart of everything. Throughout the day, men would pause to pray. Some lifted their eyes toward the sky, others whispered ancient words learned since childhood. The law of God was not merely belief, it was a way of life. The Sabbath was the most sacred day. From Friday at sunset, everything changed. Work stopped, and the village entered a state of rest. Families lit lamps, prepared their tables, and gathered in peace. It was a holy time where life slowed and reverence filled every home. In the synagogue, the men listened as the scriptures were read aloud. Ancient words came alive in attentive ears. Some dreamed of future promises, of the coming of someone who would change everything. A Messiah, a Savior. As night fell, the village grew quiet once more. Oil lamps cast soft light inside the homes, creating gentle shadows on the walls. Families gathered to share the final meal of the day. Stories were told, lessons passed on, and bonds strengthened. Life was hard, yet meaningful. There was no rush as in the modern world, but there was a deep connection to what truly mattered: family, work, community, and God. In those days, each moment seemed simple, yet full of purpose. And without knowing it, somewhere in that same land, the greatest story in human history was beginning to take shape. Because in the midst of those customs, those ordinary lives, something eternal was about to be revealed. The desert wind moved softly across the ruins, lifting dust from stones that had been silent for centuries. Beneath the vast sky, men and women worked carefully, brushing away layers of earth that had buried history itself. They were not only searching for ancient objects, they were searching for answers. The first discovery came from hidden caves near the Dead Sea. Inside, wrapped in worn fabric, ancient manuscripts were found, fragments of sacred texts written far earlier than many believed possible. When scholars examined them, something remarkable happened. Despite the passing of centuries, the words matched almost perfectly with the texts still read today. It was as if time itself had failed to erase their message. These writings were not just old, they were evidence of careful preservation across generations. The second discovery emerged from the ruins of a once great empire. There, engraved on a piece of stone, was a decree from a powerful king who allowed a people to return to their homeland after exile. For years, This account had been known from biblical records. But now it appeared outside of them, carved into history itself. What was once questioned began to stand on solid ground. The third finding was even more striking. In an ancient war inscription, a foreign king described his military campaign against a small nation. He listed cities he had conquered, lands he had taken, yet he made no claim of capturing the capital. That detail stood out. It aligned perfectly with the biblical account, which states that the city was besieged but not destroyed. What many had seen as belief alone was now echoed in the records of an enemy king. The fourth discovery brought a quiet sense of awe. On a weathered stone, a name appeared, clear despite the damage of time. It was the name of a royal dynasty that some had once considered symbolic or legendary. But there was undeniable. A real lineage. A real kingdom. This name connected directly to one of the most significant figures in biblical history. What had once been doubted now had a tangible foundation. The fifth and final discovery pointed to a pivotal moment in the New Testament. In an ancient city by the sea, an inscription was uncovered bearing the name of a Roman governor. The name matched exactly with the man described in the biblical accounts, the one who authorized one of the most important decisions in history, the condemnation of Jesus. He was no longer just a figure in a sacred text. He was a confirmed historical presence. 5 discoveries. 5 pieces of a greater story. Each one from a different place, a different time, yet all pointing in the same direction. The Bible was not separate from history. It was deeply woven into it. As the sun began to set over the ruins, casting golden and crimson light across the land, the archaeologists realized something greater than any single discovery. Faith and evidence are not always in conflict. Sometimes they walk side by side, because history leaves traces. And those traces, once uncovered, reveal that the past is not silent, it still speaks. And for those willing to listen, the truth becomes impossible to ignore.